All right. Check, check, check. Sound check. One, two, three. Looking good. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing great this weekend. Good to see you. We've made it to another Sunday night and another English weekly roundup. Number 14. We're getting along. 15 will be next week. That's halfway to 30. In no time, 30 weeks will have passed and we'll have done as many weekly roundups. That's amazing to me. Hey, when it's, the best advice I ever got was when I was writing my master's thesis, or, and this applies to anything that you're writing or any project you're working on. When you can't think of what to do to begin, stress out, you get worried, don't know what to do, just begin. Just start. Like Nike says, just do it, right? Just get started, get in it. You'll start generating ideas. Things will start flowing. You may scratch some things off your paper, or, like, that shows my age. Nowadays, you may delete some things. You may select it, highlight it, hit delete more than once. But the more you do this, the more things will come together. And the more words that go on paper, more words that stay on paper. The more words you type into your word processor, the more words that stay in that word processor. You progress. All right, this week we're talking about fashion and retail. This was our topic at English at the Ready. Again, these streams, these are meant to summarize what I do throughout the week teaching English to our club members at English at the Ready. If you want to check us out, if you're interested in longer term, monthly, weekly, so every month, our memberships run monthly, but every week we have a new set of words, a new topic, one group class. We have some discussion questions and a discussion board that we're using now. We also have a master class that we give throughout the week, along with 1 to 2 video lessons. I say 1 to 2 because nowadays, next week, we're going to try something new. We're going to put out one video lesson a week, and we're going to offer some other opportunities to practice. Frees up our time so we can keep adding value to our club in different ways. And what we're finding, we have more than 70 video lessons recorded now. So when you join the club, you get access to those video lessons, and those are on demand. You can watch those anytime, over and over, as many times as you'd like. They never go away. They stay where they are. Um, so we have so many of those now that a lot of our students are asking that we do more. They want more conversation practice. They want more corrective speaking, corrective writing. And this is kind of where we're leaning. In the next few weeks, we're going to try some things out. I hope, I'll say in a month, I'll have a better idea of exactly what we're going to do on a continuous basis. But this next month's going to be a time for trial and error. We also launched our new webpage. So if you check out englishattheready.com, there's a training video there with my partner, Michael. Michael is a fantastic teacher, and he's honestly the reason that I started teaching like this again. My story is a long story. When I taught English, I started teaching in 2010. I never expected to stick with it for this long, but I like its capability. I like building bridges. Bridge School Online is about building bridges between cultures, between people. You could say online and Twitch, it's a gaming community, building bridges within the gaming community. Now, I don't have a big following here. My focus isn't on Twitch. I do this in addition to my regular classes throughout the week, course designing, and all the other business administration. I would say my job is more business operations for English at the Ready. So again, this is something that I just enjoy doing, and I like to give some free time, some free classes, free instruction to all the people who fall somewhere in between wanting to practice their English in a formal way. Schools, institutions, universities, they're not for everybody. And there's a gap where people start working, they get involved with families, and they think, oh, I'd like to go and practice English again, or I'd like to get a certification. It's going to be hard, or no, going to this sort of program or this sort of school doesn't make sense. Going to a school where I just memorize things, it's not going to help me learn to speak. And it's true, it doesn't. You do have to memorize. You do have to learn vocabulary, learn grammar. You do. But being able to speak it is really important. It activates your memories. It activates those neurons, storing those memories. Biology, there's science behind it. You have to use it or you lose it. You have to use it so you retain it. Anyway, weekly roundup, fashion and retail. First word we talked about this week in classes that some people had difficulty with: closet and wardrobe. Sounds simple, but a closet or wardrobe, as we defined it in our classes, is a small room or enclosed space used to store your clothes. Sounds simple, right? In the United States, I'm American, I speak American English. For us, a closet is a specific thing. A wardrobe is a specific thing. The difference is structural. It's the form, the shape, the function even. Well, the function not so much, but the structure, form, and shape. Let's stick with form and shape. A closet is a space built into a home in a wall. I keep pointing over here because I have a closet right there. It's built into a wall as a small room or arm-length space closed off with a door. So when you open the door, you access your storage space, right? You have to open the door into that little room in the wall. Maybe it's a walk-in closet. I'll type that in chat. Walk-in closet. Walk-in, I do believe we'd want to hyphenate it at best. Walk-in closet, but I'm not so sure you need to hyphenate it. Walk-in closet. You can go inside. There's usually a rack of clothes, a rail, a bar in front of you, one on the left, one on the right. Your clothes are hanging, maybe some shelves, maybe some drawers, whatever the structure of this room is. The closet. Then we have a wardrobe. A wardrobe is a piece of furniture placed against the wall that opens to reveal storage. These are movable and not built into the wall. So a closet is built into the wall. It's structurally in or a part of the home. A wardrobe is a piece of furniture, often a large piece of furniture that you buy. When you open the doors, there's a rail, a rack, a bar, a pole where you hang your clothes. Maybe, depending on the design, some drawers, maybe some shelves. That's a wardrobe. It's a piece of furniture in the US. In England, my British friends do use these words more interchangeably than my American friends. This is something I ran into when I was in England for a while. It was not a big issue for me, but a small issue. Something that when someone would say, "Hey Jacob, would you grab my hat from the wardrobe?" I'd say, "Okay." And I go to a piece of furniture, I'd open it. "Oh, it's a cupboard. This isn't a wardrobe." It's, no, you idiot. It's over there, that door. That's a closet. No, it's a wardrobe. See the confusion? I also learned that it's common in Morocco, and I'm sure some other places because I've heard this in Asia. A dressing. Now, in the US, when you say dressing, a dressing, we're going to think a salad dressing or a dressing room. A dressing room is where you try on clothes when you're in a store and you want to try on to make sure that the clothes fit you. That's a dressing room. A dressing, like a salad dressing. Do you want ranch, Thousand Island, blue cheese? Which dressing would you like? This word, I've heard it, but it confuses me because I'm not used to it. Again, this person in our classes from Morocco says they use it often, so they're familiar with this word. A lot of times the words that are used, it's a dialect. Each dialect uses words in different ways. So the way they use them isn't wrong. It's not right for me to say, "Oh, that using dressing that way is wrong." No, since they use the word that way, that's a meaning of the word too. Again, it's not a common meaning, especially not for us here in the US. What else do I want to say about this? I think that's good. Again, closet, the difference is structural. A closet is in the wall. It's a door you open up, built into your wall. A wardrobe is a piece of furniture placed against the wall with doors that you can open to hang your clothes. And again, there's other space inside of it also, drawers and shelves, and so on and so forth. The next word, monochrome. Monochrome. The majority of my students, when I said this word this week, they thought, oh, black and white movies, black and white animation. Yes, black and white movies, black and white animation. Yes, it is monochrome because when you talk about chromation, when you talk about monochrome colors, black and white are, black is the absence of color, white is all colors. How much light is there? As black gets lighter, or you add light to black, like over here. You can see this with my lighting, right? This area, right, I have trouble with this sometimes. Oh, come on, brain. This area right here, it looks black. It does. It looks black. But when you go where the light strikes, let's go this way. Here, a little bit gray. And then it becomes a little bit, I'm really struggling with it. Right here, this, it becomes not quite white, but you get the idea. It's lightening up. So it gets lighter and lighter, or you could say whiter and whiter if you wanted to. Because again, all colors, I want to use another word, but I'll use it in a moment. Every color has different shades of color. So that's what this is. Outfits or designs that consist of only one color or varying shades of that color. Blue, dark blue, light blue, and everything in between. You have black, then you have very dark blue. Then you have lighter shades of blue until you get to baby blue, North Carolina, university blue. Then you get down to light blue, very light blue. Barely there, light blue. And then white, as you add more light to it, right? Now, for black and white, what's in between of black and white? What color is it? A couple of you are in chat, I see you. It's gray, that's right, gray, gray. So we have more distinct colors. Again, if you open a box of crayons, Crayola crayons, famous concept in the US. I think in most English-speaking countries, they sell Crayola crayons, and these crayons have so many shades of the same color, and there are so many different names like suede blue, baby blue, cloud blue, sapphire blue, so on. There are so many different shades of blue. If you're wearing blue, and that's the only color you're wearing, no matter what the shade is or what the mixture of shades is, you're wearing a monochrome blue outfit. Does that make sense? I hope so. After I said that, it made sense to my students this week. A good word to know when you think about monochrome or chromation, hue. Hue is a noun that refers to the dominant wavelength of light. See what I'm saying about light? Light that is perceived by the human eye, and it's what we typically think of when we refer to a color's name. You use Microsoft Paint, you're more technical, and you use Photoshop. You can select the hue of your color. You can mix the primary colors to get the perfect color for your project. These hues are different wavelengths of light perceived by the human eye, which gives us the shades of color. That makes sense? It's a little bit more technical, but I do think it's easily understood. Let me know in chat if it's not. But monochrome, it's one shade, not one shade, it's one color in any shade. It's the wavelength of light perceived by your eyes, how much or how little light reflecting off of that color or is absorbed by that color, depending on how you look at it. All right. Each hue can vary in saturation. This is the deepness, the darkness, saturation, and brightness, the brightness, resulting in a wide range of colors. For saturation, think about a sponge. I always think about sponges. Think of saturation. When you put a sponge in water, it can absorb a lot of water. And when it has absorbed as much as it can, saturate it. So there are different levels of saturation, give you the depth of color, right? This is kind of going beyond the scope of an English lesson. It's becoming more of a design lesson. But let me know if you have any more questions in chat. I'm going to leave it there. I don't want this to be too complicated. Using the word shade is just fine. Those shades might also be known as hues, if you want to be a little bit more technical in your English. To suit someone. So this is an idiom we learned this week. To suit someone. My wife often tells me, let's read the definition. When clothes fit somebody well and look good on them, we say it suits them. It fits you. Looks good on you. It suits you. My wife often tells me that not so much black, not my Appalachian shirt here. This was the first university I went to, Appalachian State University. Appalachian State in North Carolina. You hear that North Carolina coming out a little bit when I say it. Blue and green. My eyes, I don't know how well you can see them, and I'm not going to be weird and get really close. That's not my style. But she says blue and green are the colors that suit me best. And I would say my mother and plenty of other people in my life have told me these colors are my best colors because my eyes are a little bit blue and a little bit green. Not, someone asked this too. It's not like I have one blue eye and one green eye. No, that's not the case. Just I have a ring of blue and a ring of green, basically, in my eyes. And when I wear green, what do you think happens? The green pops. The green comes out of my eye. When I wear blue, what do you think? Same thing with blue. The blue pops in my eyes. So, and my sister also has similar eyes. So when we wear blue, when we wear green, our eyes change colors. Kind of a cool thing about us. We're lucky. I like our eye color. I think it's an interesting eye color. To suit someone though. To suit, not sweet. Again, second word here, the bold word where my cursor is. It sounds like sweet lollipop, but it's not. Not like candy, not sugar. Sweet, as in a room. And I gave a long form definition, and I took 4 different definitions that I came across, and I blended them together to explain them in this, what looks to me like a paragraph. Usually my descriptions are one line. This is 2.5. A suite is a set of rooms designated for one person's or family's use. So this can be for a person's use, a family's use. I might even use the word entity. A business might use an office suite, right? It's an area or set of rooms that are designated for a certain use. In hotels, this is, aside from offices, this is where you'll most frequently hear the word suite. A hotel suite typically includes a living area and 1 or more bedrooms, offering more space and amenities than a standard room. Having a living area, maybe a small kitchen, maybe 2 bathrooms even. It's kind of like a small home in a hotel. I wouldn't say, you can say it's kind of like an apartment, right? It's a home away from home, but hotels often have suites that are often their nicest rooms. The presidential, this is something that's classic to hear about. The presidential, the nicest, most luxurious suite in a hotel, the wedding suite. It's a suite designed for couples, well, couples, not even couples, for husbands and wives, for newly married individuals. That's what I should say nowadays, right? Newly married individuals to spend their first few nights together in this hotel room, if you catch my drift. Wink, wink. A suite has a special function. It's designated for a certain type of use. Suite. When I read this, now that I've said this word so many times, suit and suite, right before I clicked, in my mind I said, to suite someone. No. Teaching English messes with my brain sometimes. I swear that my English, my personal daily English, is worse now than it's ever been because I correct people all the time throughout the day. I have, 36 classes throughout the week now, and we have around 126 students total, and right now at least. And I tell you, I answer these questions. So the first thing on my mind, and this is when you talk about cognitive load, and you talk about trying to remember things and to reproduce the language, I so often correct the same mistakes that those mistakes start becoming part of my vocabulary. Even if I know they're wrong, even though I teach English, I'll say something, cover my face, and just do, why did I say that? You know, face palm. You say face palm, and that's the idea is, why? Face palm. The face palm situation for me because I don't mean to do it, and I don't catch it until I say it, and I say, why would I ever say it like it's wrong? I teach English sometimes. um, so the questions of the week this week, of course, revolve around fashion and retail too. Can you think of an item of clothing or style that was trendy when you were younger, but it's not today? What is it, and did you have it? A lot of people talked about bell-bottom jeans. I feel like if you ask this in an American classroom, you might still hear about bell-bottom jeans, 1970s. But bell-bottom jeans have come and gone. Fashion is often cyclical. It goes around in circles, right? What goes around comes back around at some point. Bell-bottoms have circulated every 3 to 5 years, it seems. 1970s, when I was in high school, I know people liked to dress like they were hippies 70s, so bell bottoms came back. And then while I was in college, the end of university, that would have been roughly 4 to 5 years later, they came back again. And then around my 30s, they came back again. It's like bell bottoms. And I hear now some places in Eastern Europe, bell bottoms are very popular once again. They were also popular back in the 70s. So fashion is cyclical. My story about an item of clothing that was trendy when I was younger but isn't today. Somewhere around the late 1980s and early 1990s, I was in elementary school and then was going on to middle school. Somewhere in that time, we wore windsuits. These were called windsuits. They were basically a nylon suit, a little bit rain, water resistant, and a little bit wind resistant, but not really. Not like a North Face Gore-Tex jacket or something. Gore-Tex is that magic fabric that blocks everything. Um, this is not Gore-Tex. This is just nylon. But they were brightly colored. You had a jacket, matching pants, crazy designs, incredibly bright. Kids, when I was in elementary school, looked like packs or a big pack of highlighter markers running around on the field. You could see kids just running by in a neon haze. Right? You have Taylor Swift's purple haze and Jimi Hendrix, but lavender haze. And now that I've related those two songs, it kind of ruins everything for me. But oh well. You know, lavender haze, purple haze. I'm gonna stick with purple haze, right? Much better song. My wife, I don't know if she would agree. She's a little bit of a Swiftie, just a little bit of one. Um, but what was I saying? I got off topic, off track. Ran around like a bunch of neon highlighters across fields, and it was just a great, very fun kid style. I sure as heck would not wear that nowadays. Sure, I wear some bright clothes. Like today, I wore this shirt, and I have green khaki pants on. It's a bright kind of, not quite a hunter green, like a bright, kind of a bright J. Crew. If you know J. Crew, they're brighter greens. Hair like that. Oh, I said, oh, making a statement. You're making a bold statement of dressing. I didn't think so. I thought it looked nice. I like a pop of color once in a while. But these windsuits were so bright, and the patterns often made no sense. I had one that was black, red, and white are my favorite athletic color, but it had these crazy squiggly lines across. Not like skater punk squiggly lines, because there was also a form of fashion when I was in high school where like skater punk clothes. They had squiggly line, looked like graffiti art, drawings, paintings. Um, this is not quite the look. It's close. It's close, but it's not quite as extreme, maybe as that skater punk squiggly line graffiti artwork clothing that came along in high school. But by seventh grade, these were gone. They were out of style, and I've never seen them again. I've never seen. I can't imagine that they don't exist somewhere in some form or fashion. I don't know, but I have not seen them since I was a kid. This is a fashion that hasn't circled back around. I kind of miss it because it was fun. Bright colors, everybody wearing windsuits. I had like 5 or 6, one for each day of the week, and I'm pretty sure that's all I wore back then. Even on warm days, I would try to wear a windsuit. And oof, that was a bad idea because nylon doesn't breathe very well. Talk about Halloween costumes. When I was a kid, we had plastic Halloween costumes. I had one, I remember I wore that thing 3 years in a row. Bright yellow plastic, really ugly mask, furry stuff on the sides of it, all falling off, getting in my mouth. But that thing was so hot, even in October. And this was back when October was like actually fall and it was cool. I was a sweaty mess when I took that thing off. I remember how sweaty, like pools of sweat would gather in that mask. Gross. All right. And our second question of the week: how does fashion differ between cultures? Can you think of any examples? One of my favorite examples this week was given by one of my students from Nigeria. Not Nigeria, different place. Nigeria. He talked about the men would wear monochrome clothes, pair of slacks, a button shirt, so they look nice. And then women would wear these, and they do, they wear these bright, beautiful colored dresses with interesting fabrics and designs and color mixtures and patterns. And then they wear unique hats. It's like every woman has a different hat. And I do think that Nigeria's style is pretty unique, pretty amazing to see. He showed me some pictures of his family, and they were just, it's really neat to see it. Simple as that. And he agreed. I made a joke. I said, so it's kind of like the opposite of birds. And he laughed. He said, yes, yes, the men, we dress plain. The women, they dress in these beautiful, beautiful, Jacob, beautiful, bright dresses. I love the pride he takes in his. This is something when you talk about clothes and fashion, movies and music, when you talk about soft power, as we often call it in academic research, soft power, these cultural things that you can visualize, you can see, and that stand out. Um, I really enjoy this part of my job, hearing how much someone loves their own. And then, of course, we have people who are Persian, who 1979 came along and they all, through schooling in the 80s, had to wear 80s and 90s, for sure, without question, in the 80s and 90s, they had to wear what they called, what did they call it? They called it a long coat. It's actually what most of them called it. I know that's not going to be the word, but it's something a little different than what we often think of when we think about Middle Eastern cultures. But they wore this long coat, something that goes from their head all the way down to below the knees. And they made that, all of them made stressed that it was below the knees. So they had to wear these. But then they said underneath, though, underneath this coat, again, coat as they call it, covering, they wore beautiful fashion. So we like to wear bright colors. One of them in particular likes a bright blue. I loved wearing this. I loved wearing my necklace and my jewelry under these clothes. Could not see it, could not let it be seen, but she said she knew it was there. And it was her way of expressing herself. And even though no one else could see it, at least in public, she knew it was. And that gave her this mental strength to manage her day to day life. And I thought that was amazing. I think, again, stories like that are beautiful stories. It's something that makes you really think about other people and how certain ideology can get in the way of of want to live your life. Now, Americans, we take this a little bit to the extreme. We we want to do everything and anything. I do me, you do you, leave me alone. You know, that's seems to be the going idea in the US. And not everyone here is that extreme. If you're not from the US and you think, "Oh yeah, Americans are all extreme." No, not everyone is. I mean, I'm rather conservative. In my group of friends, I'm pretty conservative, but I don't worry about what other people are. I don't tell other people what they need to do unless they're doing something wrong, unless it's something that hurts somebody else, and say, "Hey, you didn't do what you're doing." But when it comes to most preferences, have your preference. We're lucky that we can have those. We have very comfortable lives here in the US. I've lived in China, I've lived in Argentina, been throughout Thailand as well. We are very fortunate to have a lot of the liberties, good word, freedoms that we have here in the, without question whatsoever. And that's something when you live overseas long enough, I think everybody starts to realize that. Now, I do have some friends who live overseas and they say, I feel freer here. I understand that feeling too. But on the whole, here, we have a whole lot of liberties. And for the majority of us, we have relatively comfortable. Sure, things can be expensive. Sure, the job situation can be very difficult. But in general, comfortable. For a country that's surrounded by ocean, well, on two sides we have oceans. To the north, we have our friendly neighbors to the north. To the south, we have Mexico, which gets a little wild sometimes, but we are friends with them and we do work with them. So we're really lucky for this. Then you go to Europe and then Africa and then areas of Eastern lands. I don't want to single out and say the Middle East. There's a lot more to that area than the areas that are conflict zones. But in the US, we don't have groups of people who can just walk over. We can talk about the southern border, that's fine. But we don't have groups of people who can just walk over and cause problems without passing through certain checkpoints and then large zones where if they're going to be big trouble, say they're carrying weapons, they'll be found. In Europe is a lot smaller. Countries are a lot smaller, right? The borders are connected by land. And sure, there are crossings, sure, there are guards, sure, there's security, but a little easier to move across that landmass than it is to come across the ocean and do something in North America, right? This is just something I tell a lot of my friends because it's something we definitely take for granted. We take it for granted on the personal level, at the political level, all of it. So anyway, this week was fashion and retail. I didn't put my ending slide, but that's okay. We don't really need it. You know who I am. You know what we're doing by this point. Again, if you're looking for longer term, individual, group lessons and training, check us out, English at the Ready, www.englishattheready.com. Again, I do these weekly roundups every Sunday night at 8:30. I'm getting tired. 8:30 on Twitch, 9 o'clock. I say between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. I may just change that time to 9 o'clock because lately that's the time it's been. We have 3 kids, 3 girls, and I have a beautiful outdoor area I like to enjoy on Sundays. I like to sit outside my hammock and write and do other work. But by 9 o'clock, I should have my bottom in this chair. I should have my A sitting right here in this chair. It's a little borderline dirty joke for you guys. My A in this chair. And we'll do it again next week, number 15. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. Please, if you're not following, I don't hit these buttons enough. I just get into my lesson. I look at this right now as a video recording. Oh, these aren't set up. Oh, well. I look at this as just doing a recording of a video lesson. I'll post this on YouTube later, and we'll have conversation in the YouTube comments. Eventually, more people will be watching. More people will be commenting on YouTube. There'll be more discussion, and that will be fantastic too. But for right now, enjoy this video lesson. Bridge gaming, play some games Friday night, Saturday night, just for fun with friends. Again, here on Twitch. I'm not a pro gamer. I've been playing video games since I was a kid, and I enjoy them. Last night, we had a great moment with a keg off the back. Well, no, actually, no, it was a keg from island to another ship in Sea of Thieves. One of the best plays in Sea of Thieves I've had my entire gaming experience. But anyway, just got a message that I know I have to respond to. Everybody, you take care. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week. Again, check out all the socials. They're down there too. You get it. You know how to do it. Check Twitch. All the information's there as well. I'll see you later. Follow that stream. Check out the YouTube. Subscribe there. Follow there. Like there. All that stuff that generates motion for these videos. And we'll see a growing group of people studying together here. Bridge gaming and English. You all take care. Have a good night and a good week. I'll see you next week.